Now, will you call them?
Then Trustee Martin.
Here.
Trustee Pierce.
Here.
Trustee McManus.
Here.
Trustee Spillman.
Here.
Trustee Lambrecht.
Here.
Trustee Wishaw is excused.
Need a motion to approve the village board minutes from March 3.
I make a motion to approve the village board minutes of March 3, 2026.
Thank you. Motion. Was that Fran? I'm sorry. Was that Fran?
It was me.
Nancy and Fran, thank you. Any discussion on those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are, what are you missing?
Elaine, I missed putting on the agenda approving the special village board minutes. Do you want me to put that on the next meeting? Okay.
We'll catch up to it. Thank you.
What was?
Public comment, provide 2-minute opportunity for citizens to voice their opinions to the village board. Do we have a list? No? The village board normally does not respond as it may conflict with the meeting requirements. Is any public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on. 6A, Resolution 2026-033, approving a conditional use permit to allow multifamily residential development with an apartment building exceeding 8 units per building on parcel located on the southeast corner of 4 Mile Road and North Green Bay Road, Village of Caledonia. This is, went through the Planning Commission on 2/23 with a 5-0 vote. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-033.
I'll second it.
A motion, a second. Is there any discussion on that motion?
Yeah, I just have something to say here.
Yes.
I'm going to vote yes on it. You know that I've always been opposed to the TID, and this is in the TID, but, and also to the fact that we keep waiving green space. But this does have some green space in the center, and I very much appreciate that, and I know it's going to go through anyway. So I'm going to vote yes, but that's why.
Thank you, Fran.
And also because there's, between this area and the residential area in the back, there are going to be single-family homes. It's not apartments abutting right up against the single-family homes behind it.
Tom,
Yes.
my comment is, in looking at all the documents that go with it, especially out on Zoning Hub, there is a traffic impact study in there.
Mhm.
I'm not entirely comfortable with what's in there. I hope we will get better details and look at that a little stronger. It doesn't really seem to resolve the issue because that intersection is listed as a C and a D, and the proposed documents that are in there really don't seem to fully address it. So that's just a concern.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All
I
in
guess
favor
I
say
might
aye.
ask
I'm sorry.
if the traffic impact study isn't able to address the issue, then what?
I think it does. Would you care to comment, sir?
Is there a complete traffic impact study?
Yes, there is.
The traffic impact analysis will be discussed, I think, further when we have the BSO approval, and it will be brought forward as an agended item to the village board for recommendation and approval, and that will get a reviewed I'll give you a thorough analysis, but nearly every single aspect of the development is within the village's standards. So there's just one left-hand turning movement that's being looked at and discussed further with the developer's engineer, and will be discussed at further length in the future
Okay,
meeting.
I do have a concern because I try to turn left out of there and I almost never can. I have to go around, all the way around the block usually. So I hope
Right.
that does get addressed.
Thank you.
And I think for anyone who's interested, the information is out there on Zoning Hub. Anybody can go look at that impact that's in there already.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Resolution 2026-34, approving a building, site, and operations plan to renovate a commercial site, to be utilized as a children's surgery center at 8049 East Frontage Road, Village of Caledonia. This also went through the Planning Commission, was passed on a 5-0 vote. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-034.
Thank you.
Before I second, I have a question.
Yes, what's the question?
There's more than 5 people on planning. So how did we get a 5-0?
There was a couple absentees that night.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I'll second.
Well, you already did, so thank you
Oh,
for doing
sorry.
it twice. Okay, any further discussion?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
Yes, go ahead.
I've spoken to Todd about it too, because one of our residents, who is a public health nurse, raised concerns about that area in that it's a children's health center. I think it's intended to be dental, and
It's
it
a
relies
dental.
on septic system.
It's a dental.
But it relies on septic, there's no sewer or water in that area, so it relies on a septic system and a well. Her concerns, I think, in particular, were about the septic system, because that affects the groundwater of adjoining areas that also are on wells. So how are we going to address that?
Well, I think it would make you feel better to know that we're just the first of many applications they have to address before it goes through.
Fran, in response to your question, the BSO was for the external modifications to the site. As for the occupancy of the building as a dental surgery center, it has to get approval by DSPS for the modifications because it's a health center. And so they are the ones that review for the septic, the well, and as well as any type of modifications on the interior to make sure that it is a facility that meets the standards for that. As well, it goes through a building inspection for review to comply with all building code requirements for that type of facility. So that will be addressed at that particular juncture. What is being reviewed tonight by the board is exterior modifications to the building and the adding of a backup generator to the site.
What's DSPS?
The Department of State of the building is. Thank you. I use the acronym so often that I forget what the actual one is. So it's a state approval operation. So yeah, DSPS, DSPS is the other jargon we use, but yeah, it is the organization at the state that reviews buildings
Okay.
to make sure they're in compliance with the various uses that they're proposing for that. So that is something that is done separately from what we are reviewing tonight. Tonight is strictly looking at
The building.
The building.
the
on
building and the
outside.
modifications to the site.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Resolution 2026-35, approving a certified map for parcel ID 104042230038035, located in the southwest 1/4 section of 30 T4N R22 East, Village of Caledonia. This also went through the planning commission and was passed on a 5-0 vote. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-035.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion on this item?
This is TID 4. Am I correct on this? This is the last part of the Ziebler build-out?
That's correct, right?
Yes.
So does this finish out that particular property?
Not necessarily. There's two parcels. There's one large parcel to the south. May or may not be subdivided at a future date depending on the developer finding tenants.
Right. So is this a spec build, or do we know?
It's an industrial spec building at this
Okay.
point.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Resolution 2026-36, approving a building, site, and operations plan to construct a 251,872 square foot industrial building located on the parcel west of 4321 Carroll Road, Village of Caledonia. This also went through the planning commission on a 5-0 vote. Can I have a motion on this item, please?
I'll move to approve resolution 2026-036.
Thank you, Fran.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Dale. Any discussion on that motion?
Is this also TID 4?
This is the same thing. The reason this CSM was created was to create a lot so this particular building could be built on it.
Oh, they really go together, the two.
Well,
resolutions.
one lot will go to with this building, and then the other one, it will be vacant until such time the developer wants to move forward with anything.
All right, thanks.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Resolution 2026-037.
I will
authorizing the-
happily move to
I'm sorry, what?
approve. I said I will happily move to approve resolution 2026-037 because we've been talking about it for years and it's a disaster.
Second.
So we're
Parks is
good
in
with this
favor.
one. Is that what you're saying, Fran?
Yeah,
I'm good with this one.
this is
So let me finish reading it into the record. Authorizing the village staff to proceed with demolition of existing building at Gorney Park and with destruction of public records that are inside of it because they're older than Jesus.
And they're deadly.
We have a
Well, that's
motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. That was easy. Thank you, Fran. New business, whoops, can somebody take the checks?
Yep. I say, Mr. President, I go for approval of the AP checks in the amount of $440,170.28.
Thank you. Can I have a second on that?
I'll second it.
I have some questions.
Yes, please.
All right. Looking at this, one thing I notice is the Clifton Gunderson charge, so that means our audit is done, which is good. But looking at our TID 5, there's two particular charges, and I just want to make sure they end up in the TID 5 expenses. We've got landmark title for over $29,000, and the Pruitt bills alone just for TID 5 are just short of $6,000. So I'd like to make sure those stay completely and will show up soon in our TID report, correct?
Correct, but the audit is not done. That's a progress billing. The audit goes until June, pretty much.
Well,
the end of June.
well, darn, I was thinking that was a good price.
Right, yeah, no, it's a little lower. The TID, you won't see that in the TID until 2026.
Okay, no problem. Also, I see we've got USI Insurance Services for just short of $10,000. Is that like employee benefits, something else? Because it's not our.
They are a broker of our employee benefits.
I thought that might be. And then I was looking on some of the Pruitt bills, and we've got one here from 2/6/26, and it says, review concerns raised about social media posts about staff, email to Employment Council, and I don't expect an answer right now, but I'm absolutely confused as to what Employment Council should be involved or have anything to do with something about social media. So that's just a comment. And those are the end of my comments or questions.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The checks are approved. Approval of U.S. Bank credit card list. Can you handle that?
Mr. President, I move for approval of U.S. Bank credit card in the amount of $44,704.76.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that item? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Checks are paid for. Okay, discussion and possible action on registering the village logo. I'm not sure what this is. Somebody-
Jen, did we have something to hand out?
Looking for a trademark?
No, but I can get those printed for you.
Well, only if people think they need them. This was a request via two trustees putting this on because it came to the village attention that over time and some time past, we never registered that lovely little logo that's a thistle or a fork, depending on your point of view. And it's come up to be an issue. So I did have discussion with our legal counsel that we needed to bring this forward. One, to make the application. It's an online thing that can be done. This is intellectual property, which is an asset of the village kind of thing. And also we need to create an ordinance on how that logo is managed. Those documents were attached and sent out to all the trustees. And I guess they're up also on the village website, right, Jan? Oh, the attachments are not. Okay.
I have a
Okay,
question.
I can,
Holly?
okay.
Holly?
Is this, maybe Elaine, is this common to do this for a municipality?
It was new to us. We've never been asked questions about use of the village logo or other municipalities' logo. It's not been something that our office has been approached about before. But there are some communities that have policies, or I did find an ordinance for the city of Burlington, actually, because they had a Chocolate City logo. So they do have an ordinance on the books, and some communities have a policy. Madison has a administrative directive from the mayor, not an ordinance. Some communities have branding information on their website, which probably stems from maybe a policy or materials that were prepared by maybe their administrative staff with some directive from a committee. For example, the city of Milwaukee has on their website, they have specific details about how departments are supposed to use the logo and how it's supposed to be presented. But they actually don't have an ordinance in place, but they do have a rule on their website that says you can't use the city seal without permission of the clerk. So there are varying aspects of it. We've not been involved in any of those details for any of our municipal clients. And when this question did come up, if the village wants to look at registering their logo or branding of it or possibly trademarking it, we're recommending that you utilize special counsel that is trained in that area, which is not us. We're not IP attorneys. So we would recommend that you engage a lawyer to help you with that aspect.
Tom,
Yes, ma'am.
I can address this also. I mean, frankly, this came up because my opponent and another person running used the logo, the village logo on their signs and on their advertisements. And someone else contacted me and said, that seems wrong. It seems that the village is endorsing them. I had no idea if it was possible to do that. It wouldn't have occurred to me to put the village logo on any of my campaign material, but 2 other people did. And that's why this arose. So that's the issue, but it isn't limited, as I see it, to campaigns. It also, let's say a custard stand or garage or anybody could put the village logo on their building, or they could put it on their signs. And that seems to me to suggest, whenever it's used publicly like that, it seems to me it's suggesting possible endorsement. That's why I think that we ought to have a policy. And I don't think it's difficult. I think, as Nancy said, you can,
It's
trademark is
It's an online.
online.
I appreciate exactly what Elaine is saying about it is intellectual property and that's not their field, but we don't need to make this a big legal issue. Any business that's out there can go online and file their logo for $15 with the state. We don't need federal protection because we're not doing business outside of the state. It is an asset of the village. We actually have internal documents on how to use the logos here internally. I think what just happened is how far back you have to go that this logo was created, at that point there was we'll call it a technical glitch that it just didn't get done. So it's now a matter of just taking care of the technical piece and moving it forward. I've looked at some of the suggestions that Elaine has given for policies or ordinance, and there's some very good ones to work with out there.
Yep, I would say it is certainly a directive that should come from the whole of the board. It is a proactive position statement with respect to the treatment of your logo out in the public realm. If you want that to be investigated further by your staff, then the board should so indicate what levels of investigation or action you would like them to look into taking. Again, even if you're going to register, I did poke at that. There are some questions there that I don't have the background to answer. So if it's not a task that our office would do for you, if your staff feels comfortable doing that and submitting that to the state, that would be up to them. But if there are questions about it, I would definitely recommend that we engage IP counsel again to answer those questions and be able to advise how you might submit that registry, what it means, and then what rights you might have that stem from that and how you would enforce those. And then secondly, if you want a policy drafted or an ordinance drafted, that would be a directive again to give staff. And we can look into possible samples for you and look into what other resources we might need to tap to be able to make sure that it is a full and complete policy and meet your goals and directives. And then just one other comment. From the village's perspective, there were questions about use of the logo on campaign literature and a campaign sign. There isn't a statute specifically expressly prohibiting that, but if somebody had any concerns, as I've indicated to others, The Wisconsin Ethics Commission is the body to make your concerns known to, and if you want to make a complaint in that regard. So that wouldn't be the village proper, it would be the Wisconsin Ethics Commission.
Well, I don't mind telling you, Elaine, that I did contact them, not because I particularly cared, but I was contacted by other people. Their response was that I cannot, as a public official, suggest that I'm using it, endorsing the village. I can't, for example, stand up here behind with the village logo and take a picture, because that's using my public office. But since we don't have any protection, it's all right apparently for someone else to use it. My concern is not about this election, because whatever we do isn't going to affect that. My concern is about future elections, because what you're doing is putting non-incumbents in a position now of using the logo and incumbents not, because it's conceivably improper. I wouldn't do it anyway. I'm not trying to suggest that the village is endorsing me, and I wouldn't do that. But that is the suggestion that's being made by use of the logo. So I'm saying for future elections and for also protection of that trademark so that somebody else isn't putting it on their commercial site, I think it ought to be protected.
So Fran, let me ask you for tonight.
I have a motion.
Can we do a motion on having staff review it?
I do have a motion, which I had submitted to Jen, which I guess I thought it was going to be included. My motion is, it reads, the Village of Caledonia, and you already have it, but I'll give it to you again if you need it. The Village of Caledonia has a recognizable logo along with a style sheet that denotes the digital parameters for usage of said logo in the public domain. While the usage of the logo as visible in such places as the village website, internal documents, and village vehicles, the village property to protect the usage of the logo must register the logo with the state of Wisconsin. Additionally, it will be beneficial for the Village of Caledonia to craft an ordinance regarding the proper usage of the logo and style sheets. This motion is to direct staff and the Village of Caledonia to take the necessary steps to register the logo properly with the state of Wisconsin and to draft an ordinance as to the usages of all versions of the logo and style sheet.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion?
I have another question.
Yes.
I have to imagine this would be is there a punishment? Is there a way to hold somebody's feet to the fire with this type of,
Yes.
well, I'm asking Elaine, with this type of ordinance? I mean, is that the intent of drafting the ordinance, is to hold people, to fine them, to?
Well, at this point, I have not vetted the one ordinance that I looked at or the administrative policy from the mayor. I mean, I glanced at them, but I haven't been directed by this board to do a bunch of work on it. So I haven't done that. So I don't know the answer to that. And if there are penalties associated with the use of the village logo, the efficacy of that, I think those are things we need to look at. In terms of enforcing from a logo registry perspective, it would be incumbent on the village to take steps to enforce somebody's use of it. That could be, from what I understand, you could send cease and desist letters, communications telling them to stop, and if they don't, then you would probably have to take some sort of legal action. But again, I'm not an IP attorney, so I'm not going to try to play one. I think advice on what those steps could be or should be under certain circumstances is best left to somebody who has that type of practice area.
And I think I can help here also from having spoken to the Ethics Commission about this. And what they told me was there would be a fine. I wasn't suggesting in any way that somebody be taken off the ballot or whatever. I mean, I don't think that would be appropriate at all. But what they told me was that there would be a fine. If it were protected and someone used it, then there would be a fine.
I guess I'm just frustrated by the elephant in the room here, that some of us got chastised at our last meeting for the timing of certain things on this agenda. and my words got twisted and put on Facebook and recordings, snippets and things like that. And this is timing now too. And I think that we should lay this over until after the election.
that's
I
okay.
could not disagree with you more. This is strictly a technical piece of administrative action that should take place regardless of why it's coming forward. It will have no effect on this particular election. This
I've
is a
already said that
forward-moving.
this would not have any effect on this
But I think the
election. don't
timing of it on the
anticipate
agenda
that.
does.
Well, but
Well,
we didn't bring it
because-
forward. A candidate brought the issue up by using it.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor and a second. Is there any further discussion on that?
Mr. President, if I just may,
Yes, ma'am.
just to be clear, at least the information that I had talked with the Ethics Commission representative, and it's the information that was shared with me is that if somebody wants to make a complaint to the Ethics Commission, there's not a specific statutory violation for use of the logo, but there are certain obligations that candidates have with reference to the materials that they circulate that, based on the facts of any particular situation, could be determined to be a violation of state statute. So it's not the specific use of the logo. There's not a statute that says thou shalt not use the logo. It would have to be a fact-based inquiry into what the complaint is. So I just want to make that clear. That's the information from the Ethics Commission, and that there is not a specific statute that says you can't use a logo if it's protected or registered or trademarked or whatever the case might be.
And I'd like to address Holly's comment because this only came up because it happened in the course of an election.
Other things have happened too. Okay, so I have one comment I'd like to add. Nancy obviously put a lot of time into that motion, but wouldn't it be more prudent to just have a motion to have staff look into this first and then
Well, that's-
advise us on possible actions?
That's exactly what the bottom part of my motion says.
Read that again, please.
The bottom part of the motion is to direct staff in the Village of Caledonia to take the necessary steps to register the logo properly with the state of Wisconsin and to draft an ordinance as to the usages of all versions of the logo in the style sheet.
But what kind of money are we spending on this?
We don't need to spend a lot of money. This is actually a technical administrative issue. That's all it is.
But isn't this going to Elaine?
No,
No?
it first goes to Todd, and then Elaine would make a recommendation. She is right. Having an intellectual property attorney take a look at it, it doesn't have to be costly.
I guess that's why I brought that up. I think you'd put a lot of work on this, but I think that we'd like to know what those costs are before we go forward.
Well, it's kind of hard to know, but let's say, can we do it for less than, I'll throw a number out. Let's say, can we do this considering legal costs for less than $3,000 to, and I'm not putting that into the motion, to properly secure our logo so that nothing like this can ever happen in the future? And it is an asset, it's a financial asset of the village.
Who are you asking that question?
That wasn't a question.
Just reasonable expectation.
Yeah. I mean, what's reasonable? We don't need to spend a lot of money and time on this. I mean, I can go online right now for my business, and for $15, I can register my logo. It will take me less than 30 minutes. I understand exactly what Elaine is saying about IP, and that's fine.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion then that, We
There is
move-
a motion.
There
You
is
wanna
oh, there
amend
is
it?
one,
Yeah.
okay.
You can make an amendment to the motion though, Mike, if you'd like.
Oh, no, if it's already,
It's out there.
Yeah.
That's including.
we've been talking about it.
Okay. Let's take the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay.
Do we need a roll call?
No.
No,
No,
I
that's
think
okay.
we have it.
It's only.
I think it was everybody
okay.
but me.
And me. Yeah, I said no, but it's okay.
So it's a 4-2.
Only because of cost.
That's what I was kind of hung up on.
Okay, thank you, everybody. We will adjourn this meeting and move on into committee of the whole.